So our last talk of the morning before lunch will be by Bobby Johnson, who is our one high school student who's been here through the whole thing from Arroyo Grande High School. And he took Russ's seminar twice. He's going to tell you all about it.
Oh, yeah. All right, so here's the clicker I'm using. Thank you, yes. Before I start, I'm going to let you know I'm all very nervous because I've given a lot of talks before, but it's mainly to high school students and little kids, and you're all much older and much smarter than me, so let's get through this. All right, so without further ado, here's what I'll be talking about today. So first, I'll give you a little insight about myself and the research I've done with Russ at my high school, and we'll talk about my last paper, Lucky Imaging of 59 Andromeda, which I'm sure you've all heard about Lucky Imaging, and I'll tell you a little bit about what I've done there. So then the last half of my talk will be about the past seminars we've done and comparing them, because there's actually been a lot of progress made. So it'll be interesting to look at that, and of course looking at the future of what these high school research seminars can do. So first, about me. I'm 16 years old. I'm a junior in high school, and I hail from San Luis Obispo right here, and right about there is where my high school is, in beautiful Arroyo Grande, California. So, of course, I have a lot of activities and interests. Of course, science and technology is what really gets my juices flowing, and so I'm part of my robotics team at high school. That's what this logo here is for, the FIRST Robotics. They hold competitions every year, and what FIRST stands for is for Inspiration and Recognition of Science and Technology. So if you haven't heard of it, they're a great program, and kind of what they strive to do is get young people like myself involved in science and technology, because that's where the future is. Other things I do, I'm in the marching band at my high school. I'm a percussionist, and I'm also a Boy Scout and a Sea Scout. If you've heard of them, they're kind of like the Boy Scouts on the sea. So that's what I do. Now, the reason I'm here is because of Dr. Janae. Now, a quick aside, this shows you the level of my procrastination. This is a webcam photo from about an hour ago. This is me and Russ, and of course he has helped me because I've been in his seminars the past couple years, and that's why I'm here today, and it's great to be here, let me tell you. So I want to talk about now, being at the conference, I'm here to learn as much as possible. A lot of what you say here kind of goes over my head, but I'm learning, and of course here are a few of the colleges I'm looking to go to, because that's really the next step for me after high school. So, Lucky Imaging of 59 Andromeda, that's what you really want to hear about, because you're all astronomers, but I'll let you know, you're probably more well-versed in this than me. But I'll tell you about the equipment, because that's what you use in science. So, thanks to Russ, in his front yard he has this 10-inch Schmidt-Cassegrain. We used an 80mm guide scope, and his new Andor Luca CCD. So it really got a high precision, and it was good. So the Lucky Imaging technique, there has been some talks about it, and I'll tell you what we did. 2,000 images, we broke those up into 4 sets of 500. We used Reduce, thanks to Florent Loss in France. We took the top 10% of each of those 500 sets, so that's 50 images, which makes 200. We aligned and stacked those 200 to get a nice, precise image that had no atmospheric noise, or less than there would have been, and so we could take precise measurements, which, as Joe has taught me, precision is everything in science. So, here's a picture. Over here, we have the first 500 images. As you can see, due to the atmospheric noise, they're kind of blurry, but using Reduce, we can realign them, and we get this nice clear image, which we can take measurements of, and we get the science done. So, for you number nerds out there, here's a table that shows separation, position angle, and the delta M. So thanks to Lucky Imaging, we can actually look at much lower delta M's than with the typical astrometric measurements. Our conclusions led us to believe that the separation was 16.16 arc seconds, and the position angle was 36.33 degrees. Now, here's a picture. The conclusions we came to, we had to look at the past observations of 59 Andromeda. And actually, Brian Mason and Bill over there have done papers on 59 Andromeda. So we got to look at their past observations and contribute to that ever-increasing scientific knowledge. So now what you really want to know is whether or not it's a binary double or just an optical double. And as I've learned in science, sometimes you just don't know, and there was not conclusive enough data to really tell which type of double it was. So the paper is not yet published, but thanks to Kent back there, it will be published in the JDSO this summer. So if you like to read scientific papers, you can check that one out. So the reason why I do this is because I like to learn. And what I've learned is that hard work really gets you where you want to go. And the hard work I put in with my team right here produced the paper that I think is quite a nice piece of work. I also learned about managing a team, which leadership and communication, these are skills that you can use all throughout your whole life. And it's a great opportunity for me to learn this. And lastly, I learned that astronomy is just awesome. I really like doing this, and maybe I can become an astronomer in the future. So, just in case you were wondering, these are actual real high school students that I had to work with. I go to school with them, and without them, though, my paper wouldn't have been possible. So, let's talk about the high school research aspect. Joe already talked about this, but as a high schooler, I thought I would give some input as well. Why do high school research? Well, there's a lot of reasons. There's learning opportunities, which everyone likes to learn, but students, they need to learn. And so this is great for the students. There's also college opportunities, which is good for me and other students who do this. It's great on a college application. And besides things that are good for the student, there's outreach using the seminars, which is good for the whole scientific field. Now, the ultimate goal of these seminars is to get as many people interested in astronomy as possible. So we start with the students, and that's how it works our way up to college and undergrad, graduate students, and then we'll have professional astronomers out there. So one way to do outreach is classes, and another way is clubs. We actually touched on this the other day. Classes, there's a lot of bureaucracy, and it's hard to get the standards out there, so it's not really a way to go. But clubs, on the other hand, sorry about the formatting, it transferred wrong, but clubs, any high school student can start a club, and we actually could start a double star club and get people interested that way. There's no bureaucracy. You get to do what you want to do on your own terms. So, lastly, with outreach, you can go to conferences like being here in Maui, which I think is just a great opportunity to network with all of you, and it's also an incentive for people to join the double star research seminars. So, there's been lots of seminars in the past. Let's look at the past two that I've been in, because those are the ones I know the most about. In 2011, we did a paper on New Draco, and it was relatively short. In fact, this was the entire paper. It was a great work, but we made a lot of mistakes. Of course, mistakes come and you learn from them, so it's good, but another issue was we used the basic astrometric eye to telescope technique, which, don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking it, but you just can't get the high precision and low delta M you want with all the binaries out there. So we tried a new technique in 2012, which was lucky imaging, and it came out as a much longer paper because we learned from our mistakes, and it ended up looking a bit like this. So, as you can see, it's pretty nice, and it uses the advanced lucky imaging technique, which you just heard about, and what it allowed for is for less mistakes. Our first paper, we went through 17 revisions before it went out to external review. This one, it was only about 3 or 4, and not only were there less mistakes on our side, but we actually had a higher scientific accuracy because of the technique we use, which science is all about precision. So, like everything, high school seminars will evolve. There was actually a great talk on evolution the other night with Ed, but not getting into that. The high school seminars started out very small. Joe gave you a historical background in his talk a couple days ago, and there were some problems and pitfalls, but they learned. And now most of the seminars are completely full each semester, so there's really been some good progress made. Russ and I were looking to do some other advanced techniques in the future. This will allow for expansion of this seminar idea. So besides looking imaging, we're looking to use this new micrometer that Russ has, and as well as some speckle interferometry, which I'm looking forward to because it sounds very interesting. So, of course, the goal of these seminars is to do more. We want more stars per paper. Generally there's only one star reported on, but we think we could get 1, 2, 6, 7, as many stars as we really can look at in one night. We also want more students involved, maybe reaching out to different high schools to get more seminars going, but that, of course, will need more support. And we want more papers published because we really think that we can get a higher output of papers and contribute to scientific knowledge much more rapidly and greatly. So now to talk about the future, which we all are interested in. There is a possible outreach to younger students we can do. You've all heard, get them while they're young. Of course, that's what we need to do if we want more people in astronomy later. So, down the road, there's going to be more students in astronomy because you get them in elementary school, they'll continue it in middle school, and then in high school, as I am, there'll be students ready and willing to do this astronomy research. So, another way to get more people in spreading the seminars. Not quite a bubonic level, but we want it to spread possibly throughout San Luis Obispo County, maybe even California, the whole world in the future, Who knows what's possible. But this, of course, will mean more students in astronomy, which really is the ultimate goal of these seminars, is to get young people interested in science and technology. It kind of sounds like the first mission, which we are helping them along by getting people involved in this sort of stuff. So I'd like to finish off by kind of making a little analogy. Football is huge in America. I want to make astronomy the new football. So who can tell me about how many NFL players there are in the U.S.? Anyone? Any idea? You're close, but more. Exactly. There's about 2,500 NFL footballers in the whole U.S. Now, who can tell me about how many professional astronomers there are in the U.S.? No, less. Even less than 2,000. Exactly. There's about 1,500 professional astronomers in the U.S. and yes, these statistics I got off of Google this morning. So, the point is that there are less astronomers than there are football players, and what does football contribute to the scientific world? Nothing. But, of course, if we get more people involved at a young age in elementary school, they'll move up, and maybe we can surpass football. And instead of watching the Super Bowl, in the future we'll be watching the Astro Bowl. Really, this right here is a problem, but I think with the right people working on it, we can change the future. So, thank you. That concludes my talk. I really enjoy the opportunity to be here, and I'd like to thank Russ and everyone who has taught me a lot while I'm here at this conference. So, are there any questions? Yes.
I have a comment for you. Actually, amazing. As high school students, you've done so many work. You also get a good point. It's hard work and management team and astronomy cool. Those definitely show you're passionate. But I work with PhD students, and college students, and also I work with quite a few high school students as well. So I think that by working with so many different people, but one thing I think is very important I make comments on is I consider is be astronomers or to be doing astronomy research determination. I found is is a very important part of the life of doing research, because not all students I found they found astronomy cool. They do it right away, but they may enjoy it, and then after a while they're gone. They're not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
And to find out the results, and like what you did, to get correct things, and those determination I found is very, very important to be a real astronomer in the end.
You bring up a good point. Even with all the research I've done and how much I liked it, I'm still not sure if I want to go into astronomy. There's just so much out there for me, and if we can get people interested while they're young, I mean, if you look at how many 6-year-olds there are in football pads running around, they continue on with it and they do it and they know that's what they want to do, and so that's something we can do, but in the astronomy field.